Very kind. Good morning, everyone. Glad to be here. And my goal today is to have you walk away with some incredible information to help you grow your business. So thanks for the invite, Sandra.
Well, thank you so much for being here. So let's just start like at the beginning. Well, I don't want to spend too much time, you've been doing this a long time. I don't want to spend too much time on the journey to get here, but I would love to hear, and I'm sure people here would love to hear, how did you get into real estate? What was the beginning?
I'll make this brief. Everybody, I'm just like you all. I'm out on listings every day. In fact, yesterday I had a very successful day. Signed 3 listings and gave out 2 buyers. It was a productive day yesterday. But I got real estate when I was 18 years old. I wanted to play pro baseball. Went down to Florida. That didn't work out. Came back and got in a different game, which is real estate. And I consider this a game. I had fun with it. So I started selling new homes for my father's friend, Mr. Awalt, $4 an hour and $100 a house at 18 years old. I did that. I kind of floundered, and I was actually going to get out of real estate. I interviewed with Xerox Corporation for 9 months. I had 13 interviews. And the day I got hired by Xerox, I got my dream job. A very wealthy Jewish man who became like a second father to me, hired me to sell 700 townhomes on the water down in close to Annapolis. So I started selling new homes, and I sold when rates were 18%. Then after selling about 1,000 new homes, started a new home sales company. I was never going to be one of you all, by the way. I was just new home sales. So never sold a resale till 2008. But then we built up a company with 300 employees. We were in 16 states and selling 3,000 houses a year and 1,000 lots. And then the market crashed. Anybody around in 2008 in the business?
We got a couple.
Good.
I got in 2009, so.
Oh, okay. Anybody that survived during that period of time, my hat's off to you, because it was the most devastating downturn in the industry. I went through high interest rates, the dot-com crisis. Nothing was like 2008. So started over and closed my company. And we went from doing 250 sales a month down to 40 and closed the company. It was embarrassing. It was frustrating, but it was actually the smartest move I could make. So started resales. Didn't really know what we were doing. Started a team, and we've steadily grown, made a lot of mistakes over the years, and engaged a coach probably too late. One of my mistakes, you might want to write this down, is have an accountability partner or a coach early on to help hold you accountable to your activities. And I didn't do that. I just went out and did it on my own and made the mistakes. But here we are, growing a team, having fun, learning from our mistakes every day. And again, I'm in the trenches like you all every day, so I can relate to your challenges. So I look forward to a lot of Q&A.
Awesome. So Bob, 2 things that I want to just note on. One is that you are still working out there in the field. Most people at your level, or that have as enormous of an organization as you, are no longer producing. So I think that's a huge advantage that you have in being here and helping other people, because you're actually out there doing it. And I think that's amazing. That's a serious dedication to the business itself. And then the second thing I wanted to just note on is I didn't know about your baseball background. And, they always say hire people that are sports people, especially people that compete at a high level. And you're obviously, living proof of that. You're so successful, and you were, a competitive athlete. So it's interesting to hear that combination. I didn't know that about you.
I still do have a passion for baseball. That was my dream, but I really didn't have contacts, didn't have the right path. So it's really important to surround yourself with the right people. So both my sons played baseball, and I was their coach, and I love baseball and I loved coaching them. And proud to say my one son, Jonathan, played college baseball, and the older son, Robert, got drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. So It was a dream for both of our kids to play baseball at a high level. And one of the reasons he got drafted, I mean, he was in camps, he was playing in Japan, Dominican Republic, was having a hard time getting drafted. I was on a treadmill, a Stairmaster at a local gym here, and some guy walked by and said, "What a piece of SHIT station that is." It was a news station. And next day I saw him at Starbucks, and I thought it was kind of funny. I said, "I didn't like that station either." got into a conversation with him. I said, "What do you do?" He says, "I'm an old guy." I said, "What did you do before you were an old guy?" He said, "I was president of the Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. I signed Pudge Rodriguez at age 15." I said, "Would you have lunch with my son?" He had lunch with him, and he got drafted a few weeks later.
Wow.
So who you know and networking and being out, that's why people that stay home in their office and don't interact with people are missing out. You want to be out communicating with people at all times. If I wasn't on that Stairmaster, the whole dream, the whole story would have been written totally different.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think that so hits home for all of us realtors because we not everybody does that. They don't all reach out to that person and have that conversation. I remember one time having dinner with you. I don't know if you remember this. Where were we? I think we were at a South Florida event. We had both been on a panel
Yeah.
and we had dinner together, and the waiter was amazing. He was really good. And what did you do, Bob? You asked him, "Do you have any interest in getting into real estate?" And you gave him your card and you asked for his card. Watching you work, even though it's part of your pleasure as well, like you're
Mhm.
very purposeful. Watching everything you do is with a reason, and it's so fun to watch you work a room.
Well, thank you. It's fun watching you as well. I remember that dinner and I actually remember handing him the card. So I'm actually coaching somebody now, a friend of mine's son. He's not in the real estate business. And for a couple of weeks, I'm his accountability partner and guiding him. And he calls me every morning at 6:15 and we have a 5 or 8 minute conversation. Today was about how many contacts you're making. When you meet your people, your clients, or when you're following up, ask them the question, who do you know that needs to save $10,000 to $15,000 a year in their home insurance or their any type of insurance, and ask them for names right there. Don't let them. He said, "Well, if you get a chance, call me later." No, no, none of that stuff. Don't let them off the hook. Have a conversation, get a name and number right there. Be very intentional about what you're doing.
So can we dig into that a little bit more? Because I feel like a lot of people feel like they're being pushy when they do that. And watching you do that with that waiter, it was so natural and it just came from a place of caring. I felt like I didn't feel like you were trying to sell him anything or take anything from him. I felt like you genuinely saw something in him and wanted him to feel that you cared. So just expand on that a little bit because I feel like people often feel like they're bothering other people.
Well, you got to have fun with this business, and have it come from the heart and have fun with it. If you feel that you're coming from contribution and you're helping them, then I don't view it as pushy and I don't view it as being obnoxious. So I believe that we offer an incredible service, an incredible business that we're in the real estate. More millionaires have been made through real estate than any other business type. And so I believe in what I'm doing. You have to believe in what you're doing and have fun with it.
Mhm.
Um, I'll talk to people and say, if they're a great server, say, "I know that you've done an incredible job here. I'm going to tip you very well. How would you like to become a multimillionaire? Here's my card. Let's have a conversation." So, coming from sincerity, coming from being genuine, I love talking to people and engaging winners. I want to know if they're the top server out there. I want to know, what did they do to become successful? I have an incredible thirst for people that start businesses or who are successful because I want to learn one or two things about them. I just got back from the Glover event, sat in the front row, taking more notes than anybody. And people said, "Bob, you could be up on stage." And in fact, I was on stage the year before. I'm like, I want to learn. You're constantly learning more. So on this group session right here, I'm going to learn from everybody here, especially in the Q&A. I learned from you, Sandra. You're a great promoter. This event, I want to compliment you. You've been doing this now for, it must be 3 years. And the speakers that you get, the promotion you do for this, and the quality you put into it, you prepared for this the way Gary Keller had prepared us to be on stage with him.
It's very kind of you. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that.
Well, you deserve it.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about how do you hold yourself accountable, and then we'll get into the actual luxury, real estate piece. But how do you hold yourself accountable? You mentioned that you're holding somebody else accountable. So how do you hold yourself accountable?
Well, you need to know what your passion is. And people say, "Well, why do you still have such a drive for this business?" Because I only do what I love to do each and every day. Um, Love to go out for business, for listings. I don't work with buyers, just listings. Number two, I'm always looking for top talent. And number three, love coaching my team and helping to drive their success. So as long as I stay out of the weeds and stay out of the things that don't bring me joy and happiness, then I'll keep doing this forever. I love what I do. Always stay in the proactive, creative phase of your business. If you're in the maintenance phase, and sometimes we all have to be in the maintenance phase, try to do it on a scheduled time and don't let it interfere with the stuff that you really enjoy and brings you the greatest return.
So I'm hearing you say you've got to really enjoy what you're doing, and you've taken away a lot of the things that will take away from the happiness of the job that you're doing. So you've got people in the background that are supporting what you're doing.
Yes, I have wonderful team members and assistants that are helping me with the stuff that I don't want to do. And I hold myself accountable for daily exercise and programs and prospecting. And I have a very rigid schedule on myself, and I stay structured. I'm happier that way and encourage everybody else to read The Morning Miracle. In fact, one of the coaching items I'm giving to the person that I'm coaching in the morning right now is he was getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. I said, 7 o'clock? The day's almost over. You need to be getting up at 4:30, 5:30, exercise, have quiet time, read The Morning Miracle, and it's changing his life already, changing your morning routine.
Mm-hmm.
So if you learned this from Zig Ziglar a long time ago, whatever you want, you have to give it up now. So if you want more time later, give up time now. If you want some more money later, give up some money now as far as investing in yourself and in your business. So I'm very structured in what I do, and I try to teach that to people on my team.
Mm-hmm. And Bob, you're so right. You always have to give up something to get something else, right? So if we give up something that we don't necessarily treasure as much, well, sometimes we think sleep is it's such a treat, but is it going to get us where we want to be? So we definitely have to look at our schedules and say, am I taking the actions that will get me to where I want to be?
100%. Sleep's important. You just have to go to bed earlier, but sleep is very important. But I changed my life. I used to get up between 4 and 4:30 every morning for 30 years and do 3 hours of paperwork in the morning. Now I work a little bit later in the evenings, and so I get up about around 5:30 because I'm working later. But sleep's very important. So you just have to structure your day and what's important to you. But always stay in the proactive phase of your business, hold yourself accountable, and be committed to your objectives and your goals.
I love it. So let's shift into luxury real estate now.
Yep.
You are the king of luxury. You are crushing it on the luxury forefront. And how's your market? Are you seeing things slow down as well as a lot of the rest of the country?
Before I forget, thank you for the kind words, but I'm always learning, and I want to give a shout out to Brady and to Caroline, who run KW Luxury and do an incredible job. Uh, I joined there, should have joined sooner. And again, we sell a lot of luxury, but I still am the student in the room. I'm trying to learn from you and so many other top people, Sandra. So don't ever think you know it all or that you can stop learning. You're either alive and growing or dead and dying. And I prefer to be always growing. So the market where we are, we're in the Baltimore, Washington area, and we serve markets around the country. We're in Florida and some other locations. Our market is strong, but it has, like a lot of other markets, inventory is starting to rise a little bit more. You're seeing people come in, the open house numbers are down. Buyers are negotiating more. Buyers want home inspections. They're getting a little bit cocky. Remember the sellers got cocky? Like you would, it'd be a privilege for you to bid on my house, and I'm not doing any home inspections. I want multiple offers. I want to rent back. I want everything else, and I want you to wash my car. Everything else, you got everything. Now sellers are like, well, I'll just take it off the market.
Mm-hmm.
So you better have a script for when they say, I'm going to take it off the market. You better have a script for, well, I'll sell it next year. You have to have these conversations. So I would say that this is a huge skills-based market,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to learn and have these framed conversations. So when they say they want to take it off the market, how are you going to respond?
Mm-hmm.
So the market is still good. I think there's huge opportunities in every market, and but houses are sitting longer. I just got $1 million listing that they were with the other agent for 2 weeks and
Mm,
fired them and hired us. So if you have listings right now, you should be concerned and you better coddle those sellers and over communicate.
mhm.
If you don't have listings, expireds are a huge opportunity for you. And I one of the things I'm doing right now is going back aged expireds, houses that are 2 million and above that were on the market 3 years ago, just pulled about 5 of them that did not go back on the market. So I'm going to be intentional about pursuing those listings.
And you, when you say I am going to be, you're talking about you yourself. Bob is the one pursuing them.
I myself are going to pursue those targeted uh, expired listings. They're 2, 3, $4 million and $5 million listings. So you can do the math on the commissions. It's worth it. It's a good challenge. It's fun. And they've been sitting, they failed, and they're looking for somebody like you all to come knock on their door and contact them and help them, show them how to succeed in today's market.
Mhm.
There's tons of business out there.
Right. And I love that you said it's fun. It's fun to chase those down. It's fun to win.
Yep.
It's fun. So you mentioned a couple things that I'm sure a lot of people when you said it are like, tell me more, tell me more. When you said have your script ready for when the seller says I'm going to take it off the market.
Yep.
Share with us what you would say.
Well, first off, we started, I'm going to tell you the good and the bad. We started off with bad habits, and our company was, we didn't have people coming in early in the morning. We didn't have script practice. We didn't have lead gen as a team. We're now evolving into that and doing more of that, but nowhere near what I want to have done. People should be in every morning. You got to treat this. Do you know you can make more than a doctor and a lawyer, but you have to do it by coming in and practicing your skills. Who would ever think of starting pitcher for the baseball game and not warming up and practicing all season long before you get on the mound? What gives you the right to go out on a listing before you practice? So you should be in there practicing your conversations. If you're a buyer's agent, what's your biggest objections? If you're sellers, now my existing sellers, I used to not have to call anybody on Monday because we'd sell all their houses. I'd get between 5 and 7 sales personally a week,
Mhm.
and didn't have anybody call on Monday because they all sold. Well, now I have 9 that didn't sell, so I have to call and coddle them and look for a price reduction. So when I call them, and I just did it yesterday with a $9 million listing, they said, "Bob, we think we're just going to take it off the market, and we think we're going to come back next year." So okay, I appreciate you always lead with validation. I appreciate your concern. Why do you want to do that? Ask questions. Well, we're not getting our price, and I need to net a certain amount. Well, great, I appreciate that. But the market doesn't really care what you net. Right now, we're driving traffic, and we're not getting as many eyeballs on your property. And if you take it off the market now, you'll be damaged goods when you go back on the market. Second, you don't know whether next year, with tariffs, interest rates, what's happened in the world, what could happen. How do you project it next year? Now the inventory is rising. That's a national fact. Do you want to compete with more houses next year? And you have a pool. So now's a great time to sell because we have record heat right now. So this is a great time to sell. What we have to do is just face reality. This is the feedback that's going on. Here's the market comps. And I suggest we make one price improvement to this price range, hold another open house, drive traffic, and sometimes we'll get competing offers. When you have a price improvement, it's a whole new listing.
Mhm.
You get more traffic. So we were able to secure that and have them not take it off the market. So now he called me and said, "Bob, do we need to go lower with price?" He really does want to sell. So have over communicate. You want to write this down. There's a couple, whenever I say write it down, these are the key points I'm going to have you take away. You must over communicate, especially in this market, to your buyers and your sellers, because lack of communication is the number one reason you'll get fired.
I 100% agree with that. What does over communicate mean to you? Does that mean instead of calling them every 2 weeks, now I'm calling them every 10 days? Or am I calling them every day? Am I calling them every other day?
You need to have a system for what you do. My system is I call that, it depends on the price range. If and the clientele, if they're $1 million, I don't suggest texting. You have to have a conversation, especially the higher price range. Now, the higher price range, we have to call after every showing.
Mhm.
They want that type of service. Definitely call every week on a Monday, let them know what happened after the weekend. Here's the activity, here's the feedback. If it's brand new on the listing, I won't suggest a price improvement right away. I might say, let's not do anything with price right now. Let's monitor the traffic and the activity. Then maybe next week we go into a price improvement. I'm very aggressive with pricing. I don't let it sit. Days on market is a death to your property. It's the enemy of high values. So I like to adjust price as soon as possible in the process.
And as soon as possible, typically is going to be how far into the listing?
It all depends. You heard me say those words, all depends, but generally I would say 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks, because we do what we trademark this program called the Lucido Listing Blitz. We sell most of our houses in 5 days. We do a big promotion. We do open house, broker event. It's a big, we do a lot of hype around those 5 days, and deadline for offers is Monday at 10. So it's all about creating urgency.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 5 days is when you get your highest prices. We've done studies on all of them. The chance of getting full price after the first week goes down significantly.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to sell it. In fact, I encourage people to price it right or price it low. If you want a high price, price it low. If you want a low price it high.
Oh, I like that, Bob. I like that. Somebody just asking for clarification, 2 weeks for luxury as well as non-luxury on a price reduction? It
Well,
depends.
it all depends on the price range and the market and so forth. But I'm a big believer that even the high end prices. Let me divert just a little bit into auctions a second. We sold Cal Ripken's house through an auction, Mark Teixeira's house in Texas with an auction. We also were brought in and assisted with the late Tom Clancy's condominiums in the Ritz-Carlton in Baltimore with the auction there. They're all sold in 30 days after being on the market for 2 years. One was on the market for a year. An auction, really, it's a bad word, auction. It should be accelerated marketing effort, because the marketing is all in 2 weeks, and then there's an auction, and you get everybody together, and there's this urgency. So I believe that 2 weeks, even for luxury, maximum 30 days, the longer you sit, first off, I would never offer full price if it was after 15 days.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a buyer.
Right.
So it all depends. You need to know your local market. But when you see somebody asked me the other day, like, what's your average days on market? I said, what's the average days in the market in general? I said, well, for the average agent, this is what theirs is. For mine, this is what mine is. I'm not an average agent. Those average agents are doing average days on market. Here's what our program is.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a great sales technique. That's a great win for a listing appointment for sure.
Yep.
Not knowing your numbers, and yeah, I can tell you're very analytical, Bob.
Well, I have a program called after it's been on the market for a little bit. Believe me, sellers are starting to think about firing you. The higher the price range, the greater the chance you're going to get fired. I have what I call a survival package. My staff knows I need a survival package for this. And in there are comps, tax record, it's data on the market, and I'll go meet with the seller because I'm want to survive, not losing the listing, and in return get a price reduction.
Mm-hmm.
But some of those you got to, now the higher price range, you better do it in person, not over the phone. Okay. You're taking away a piece of their security, their income, and you better do it face to face, especially for the higher price ranges.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever do them on Zoom?
You can. I am. I'll show you something that has made me millions of dollars. I'll just say that.
All right.
I attended a seminar when I was 18 years old by Tom Hopkins. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. At the time, he was $10,000 a day. He was the highest paid trainer in the country, and so many people owe their success to Tom Hopkins. And I went to the seminar. It was a great seminar. But at the end, somebody came up and said, Tom, it was a great seminar, but you wasted our time. This could have been a 10-minute seminar. Now, what I'm going to share with you all will help you all achieve success and help you become a multimillionaire. And this has stuck with me my entire career. In fact, I do it in my personal life and I do it in my personal life and business life. And he drew this on the blackboard, on the whiteboard. And he said, Tom, this is the key to success. And nobody knew what it was. Can you all see this?
Yep.
Does anybody know what that is? The key to success, those are belly buttons. If you go belly to belly, face to face with 5 to 10 people a day, you become a multimillionaire. This has been ingrained in my head since I was 18 years old. And that's what I do. There's many things I don't do as well as other people. That's what I do, I believe, better than anybody in the country. I'm belly to belly, face to face with more people and sharing my story and sharing how I'm going to benefit their lives and their home sale than anyone else. So Zoom is good. Okay. In person is best. Zoom is good. Phone and then a text.
Mhm.
People can, the easiest thing to get rid of is a letter. They can throw it away. The next easiest thing is to hang up on you.
Mhm.
The hardest thing to get rid of is a body, is to be in front of them. And that's where you create warmth and they can look right in your eyes. Like I'm seeing you now, but if we were close in person, it would have a different effect.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I try to do more of this and that's been a key to my success. Any success that I've achieved is been tribute a lot to going belly to belly, face to face.
And I think that that's a skill set that we're losing over time. I think that our younger generations, they avoid that. They want to do everything over text message, and it's so easy to misconstrue things and to take things in a different direction than it was meant.
Yes, 100%. This, a lot of people will come to the office casually dressed, even during COVID, all the time. People say, Bob, you wear a suit every day. The answer is, I believe in positive self-expectancy. I'm going to list the house every day, every day. Now, I have 3 on the schedule today for appointments. I'm going to list 3. That's my expectation. But even if there's none on the calendar, like I got them all week. But let's say Monday there isn't one. I'm going to get a listing that day somehow. And I believe in that. And if somebody calls in, they do a lot and want to meet that day, I'm not going to have to run back home, put clothes. I am prepared for that. Or if somebody walks in, I want them to know they're meeting a champion. I'm ready to handle your business. So I'm always ready for that. So I want you all to be prepared for success every single day. Dress appropriately. I mean, if you're in Miami and it's 100 degrees, you would wear a little bit different clothing and then be a little bit more relaxed, but be professional. But expect to get business every single day and get in the office early and have a routine. I'm very boring. I'm very consistent with what I do each and every day.
Guys, I hope you're writing this down. He's giving you, they're easy things to do, but they're so important. And notice that he never said, I'm going to try to get a listing every day. He said, I am going to get a listing. He's going to get those 3 signed. It's not, there's no trying involved, and he's dressed for success. So a couple people have asked, where are you connecting most with people that you're face to face with them? Belly to
Uh,
belly.
it takes a while to build your personal brand. You all, each of you, are in business for yourself. You're your own brand. You position yourself what's best for you. Just be authentic. So here in our town, like soccer fields up the street, they're the best soccer fields in the Northeast. They're artificial turf fields. The name of them are the Bob Lucido Fields at Covenant Park. I'm the sponsor. The baseball fields, I'm the number 1 sponsor there. I've got signs everywhere. The church, I'm happy to be Catholic. The bulletins, I advertise in the church bulletins. So open houses, I tend to do a lot of those. Why? Because I get tons of leads from them and I become the mayor of the town and I get tons of listings. So why wouldn't I do it if that's my highest return? So I would say my highest return would be open houses and events that we do. Again, getting in front of people.
I love that you said open houses even, somebody at your level, and I know I keep saying that because I'm literally in awe of you, Bob. For for you to still be doing open houses this far into your career with as many successful people as you have on your teams, I think that's a huge statement for people, agents that have been in the business for 5 to 10 years. Sometimes they don't want to do open houses anymore. Like now they want their free time. So, I love that you're giving them a little pep talk of, hey, that's a great place to meet people.
We created something. We make them events and we make them fun. Like a lot of my open houses, we do ice cream socials. It'll cost about $1,000, $1,200, but I attract 100 people there, so we get a lot of business from the community. So I have fun with. You got to have fun with what you're doing. So
Mhm.
if I promised every person on this call that I guarantee you, if I came out to your market, I would teach you how to get a listing, at least one listing from every open house, would you do it? The answer is hopefully you would take me up on my offer.
Mhm.
Second, I'll teach you also. I only do open houses when they first go on the market. They're the freshest and they always get tons of traffic. Um, if you're going to do open houses, don't take over somebody's open house that's been on the market for 2 years, overpriced, and you get one person, you'll say it's a waste of time. No, no, no. Don't do that. You got to make your time an investment. I have people on the team and not on my team who calls other KW agents and say, can I pay you $100 to host your open house? I'm like, no, thank you. These are huge opportunities if you do it right.
Mhm.
So somebody said on stage once, and I think it's so appropriate, they said, what's the number one lead source in America? And everybody said, I think it's Zillow, or I think it's this. And the person came up with this answer. I'm going to give them credit for it because it was their thought, not mine, but I reiterated it over and over again. It's the lead source that you believe and are committed to on a daily basis. So I love the open house process where I can go into a $2 million, for example, I just did a $2 million listing. We sold it for $2,075,000. I got another listing there for 2 million, just sold that. So was it worth me doing an open house to pick up another $2 million listing? The answer is yes. Plus there's the multiplier effect, I call it. The being at the open house, they may not list today, but they're going to list 6 months, a year from now, and then they call you because of the open house. I had one guy call me and he said, I met you at an open house 9 months ago, but you said something that was intriguing. You said, this home could be yours. And he said, that resonated with me. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. He says, I want you to list my house. I'm like, great. So I listed his $1 million home. So being at the open house is what I enjoy doing. If it wasn't enjoyable, I wouldn't do it. And if the return wasn't there, but the return on investment is significant.
Mhm. It sounds like you're very purposeful with what you do. So if you're going to spend time on it, it's got to be fun, something that you enjoy doing, and you're very purposeful about it. You're not just showing up and sticking a sign in the front yard.
No, 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 no. Signs have to be out. I have a team that puts out the signs. Everything's done for me. They lay out all the material. All I do is show up with my iPad and I'm ready to go to work, but everything's already set up. And once you get to a certain point, you can have somebody do that for you too. But the return on investment for open houses is huge if you do it right. So
Mhm.
why wouldn't I do it? In fact, if I miss a good open house, it could cost me $50,000 to $100,000 that weekend.
Right. I like
So
that you look at it that way. You're looking at the opportunity cost of what
yes,
you're missing by not doing something.
yep, like yeah. So I was going to share a story, but it might come off a little bit too. I was doing an open house on a hot summer day last year in June. I know exactly when it was, the end of June, and everybody else, it was really hot, and everybody was coming in. They're going to go on a boat. They're going to do this, and I'm like, you know something, I could do that. I'm in this house. I'm just going to go and buy myself the car, the fun car that I wanted to get for 5 years. I'm just going to buy it today. And because I do open houses, I could go buy the car that I wanted to get. So it's my fun weekend car. And I just decided to do it. And because open houses gave me that opportunity to be able to do it.
Mm. I like the way you think like that. The open house is actually what paid for the car. It gave you the opportunity to purchase that car.
Absolutely. And I just never did this before, just did a video with that car in the picture for one of my luxury listings. You always see people pulling up in these wonderful cars in these high-end houses. I'm like, I want to do that once and see what it looks like. So
I bet it's a great picture.
sellers loved it, and they thought it added value. One of the things I just implemented, and I wish I had done it sooner. I'm implementing it. I haven't done it yet. I'm implementing it in a couple of weeks here. The $2 million house we just sold, we were at the settlement table, and They said, yeah, we're going to miss our neighbors. I said, why don't I throw you a party? They go, would you really do that? I said, I'll buy the food, everything. You get the people there. So we'll get like 50 to 100 people. But I'm like, the more, the better. So I'll stay tuned. I'll let you know how that goes. But if I can get 50 to 100 people that own $2 to $4 million homes, having barbecue and having fun in a casual environment, and the seller's saying how great of a job we did. Hello, where else can you get that type of testimonial? Now, it doesn't have to be a $2 million house. Everybody, this is a luxury call. You do have to up your game when you're selling luxury because those people expect it more.
Mhm.
But you should treat every client like this.
Yeah,
Luxury is a state of mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
I definitely want to hear how that works out for you. I've been trying to do some, new buyer parties, when the buyer bought the house and let's invite the neighbors, get to know each
Yep.
other. So that's on our list to do. So I can't wait to hear how your seller one goes.
I can't wait to do it. Huge opportunities. Here's what most people, one of the biggest mistakes they make, please write this down, is you get a sale and that's it. It died a slow death. Congratulations, you got a commission, you pay taxes on it, and you're done. I refuse to do that. You want to multiply that sale over and over again. In fact, Pat, my valued team member here, I always use this term. Ever hear, when you're younger, did you play dominoes? The domino effect. So remember this. Nothing happens until that first domino drops, and then everything goes in line. And you get incredible success as you gain the momentum with that. You get a listing from 2 listings from that barbecue that you did. Then you get another listing. Before you know it, you own the neighborhood.
I love it. Bob, one of the things that we do on our closing document with our agents is we ask, what additional piece of business did you get from this piece of business? Trying to get them to think your multiplier effect all the time is, okay, I had this listing. What else did I get from it? And if I didn't get anything, why not? What could I have done to do it?
Well, yeah, if you didn't get any, it's your fault. You didn't proactively market the property to the neighbors. We do events. Both of those $2 million houses I just told you about, we do a broker event, and we go live on a Thursday. So we did a broker event from 4 to 6. It's called Sushi and Sake. We did a sushi event. They came in and set up this incredible sushi operation, blew me away. And then from 6 to 7, the neighbors came, and they got sushi and sake. And so we had 75 to 100 people there, belly to belly, face to face, getting in front of decision makers. So it's also a recruiting opportunity, but it's also mainly the seller goes say, no other agent's doing what they're doing. You want to have it fun, make it part of your brand, and get in front of people.
Mm-hmm. And how are you inviting people to the neighbor part? We've tried a little bit of that, and it has not been very well attended. So how do you market that?
Well, we're in the process of doing it, so I can't say with total conviction right now. But the seller said we'll take care of getting everybody there. We have the neighborhood community list and their emails. I'm like, great. If you want to give that list to me, I'd be glad to invite it for you. So we'll also, not me, but I'll have my staff go door to door and hand out flyers. But we'll domino the marketing efforts to make sure that we get a lot of people there. And then we'll have some giveaways. We'll make it a fun event. There'll be a drawing for a dinner. There'll be a drawing for baseball tickets to the Oriole game. So we'll make it fun.
Lots of incentives. I love it. Somebody's asking, how do you drive traffic to a condo where you can't hold an open house? Any tips?
Oh, that's a great question. I love that. Well, the condos that we have, you can have an open house, but the door's locked. So still on your website, we have incredible marketing. We have our own in-house marketing team led by my daughter, Lauren, and her staff are awesome. So you need to market the event. You have to have proper signage. You ask the person at the front desk to share this with the people in the community. Hopefully you can post it somewhere there, post it on the community sites. You have to get visibility, but somebody is stationed up in the condo itself. So you may have two people. I always would be down in the lobby because that's where I want to greet people. And then when they come down, I'll walk out and try to close for an appointment. So you have to have 2 people there because of the door.
Mm. So that's interesting. I think that a lot of us would have thought the other way around, where you would be in the condo and the other person downstairs. But now I totally see why you're downstairs.
I want to walk to the car. I want to greet them, create that relationship. My associates upstairs, they'll show you around the home, which is awesome. Come on down, and then I'll talk to you about the community. I actually have you introduce you to some neighbors here and ask them, what would you like best about the home? Oh, we like this. Great. Is your house currently on the market? Have a conversation, and then we can go there. If I stay up in the home, and by the way, at the open house, I've been doing open houses since I was 18 in the new home world. Never leave the control center, which is the kitchen and foyer area. I don't leave within 10 feet because I'm registered. I greet everybody. I watch them come and go. Don't ever be upstairs. I remember one of my agents came with me on the open house. He went with somebody in the backyard. He's showing them everything. I said to the person, we have 30 people in the house and you're with one person in the backyard. Okay, who probably is not going to buy the house. And so you lost 29 people. You need to stay in the control center and meet as many people as you can. Write down their name and number. If you want to walk the lot, do it after the open house. I have a saying that I say to my agents. They were talking to one of their customers, and they said, "Yeah, great. Give me a call, and we'll set up a time later." And I went up to him and said, "Don't ever let a customer off the hook. You just gave an opportunity to give me a call. That's not what you do. When would you like to walk the home site together with your spouse and your kids? Later this evening or tomorrow, good for you. Set up an appointment. Show me your calendar and I'll tell you how much money you're going to make."
Set it up. Set it up now. Don't wait.
Yes.
I love it. What other kind of events do you do? Like, do you do any client appreciation events, things like that?
Yes. We're doing one right now for our clients, and it's very, very effective. We do an annual client appreciation dinner in a really nice restaurant. Last year, we probably had about 200 people, but the marketing team, Lauren and the team, came up with this incredible idea because everything is about getting business. So everybody got a ticket for raffles, and tickets could be a weekend stay in Florida. It could be a Ravens game. There's a lot of giveaways. So we said, write down a referral for us and you get 5 extra bonus tickets. People are writing down names, giving us information, and getting all these tickets because they want to compete. So the client appreciation dinner, which is our big event for our personal clients, is huge. So that's big. We just started something, by the way, that I thought I took the advice of Pat actually, and my daughter and the team. They say we should do the farmers market. It's every Saturday for the next 4 months. I'm like, really? A farmers market? We just signed a listing last night because of the farmers market. People love it. They're networking, they're talking, they're casual. And that didn't cost us much money at all. So that's an event that we are sponsoring. The client appreciation event is the dinner. We also go this year. We're going to be going back to New York City. We do a bus trip to New York City. We've got about 200 or 300 clients that go there. They love the trip.
Wow,
So
that's interesting.
one of our team members does movie night, and I have oral season tickets. Told you we sold Cal Ripken's house, and I was actually his partner. We owned some minor league baseball teams years ago. I want to invite about 100 of our clients for the Bob Lucido baseball day. Bring your kids and have an event there. So that's on the list. The client appreciation dinner is actually end of August.
Okay, great. Wow. And it sounds like you get great attendance at these events.
We do. We make the clients we try to make them our biggest fans, and we get them involved. But it's a first class event. They love it. They're treated first class. So that's the only way I'll do anything is first class. If anything about it is cheap, I want nothing to do with it. I'm not there to save money. I'm there to invest it and make sure that we're creating an experience.
And I assume that you're using this as an opportunity for your agents to be reaching out to past clients. Even if they don't come to the event, the purpose is the phone call and actually getting them invited to come to the event, giving you a reason to follow up with them.
Absolutely. Like, these are just my personal clients. This is not for the team. So
Okay.
we do some team events, but my personal clients come to this event. So if they, at least they get the invitation. If they don't come, then we can call and say, hey, sorry, you missed it. And then ask for referrals. But it's an opportunity to invite the clients and have a relaxed environment with them. They love it. It's been our signature event.
That's great. So, Bob, I want to just open it up for questions really quick. You have so much great information and you're such a wealth of knowledge, guys. Do you have any direct questions for Bob? This is a unique opportunity to be able to pick somebody of his level's brain.
Can I, before we get questions, our notes from yesterday, I want to make sure I cover this. Each and every one of you, I'm going to admit one of my biggest mistakes. I told you yesterday I was making you wait a little bit till today.
Yeah.
I had a house listed $3 million like 3 years ago, and great family. It didn't sell, and they decided we're going to stay and put a pool in, and we're going to be here for the long term. Great guy. Sent his wife to dinner. I even remember his phone number. We would go to dinner. I actually said, Bob, I might retire, sell my business, and I might get in real estate with you. I'm like, love to have you. I would drive by the main road, and you can see his house from afar. I'm like, I should call Ken. I never called Ken. I just found out he just listed with my biggest competitor for $3.5 million in his beautiful pool. Everything looks amazing. And I'm so mad at myself, not because I'm going to lose a $110,000 commission and the multiplier effect, but because I didn't take that action on the follow-up, and shame on me. So focusing on your follow-up, who you haven't called, I will never make that mistake again.
Mm-hmm.
I will never make that mistake again.
But that's a hard one. That's a hard one to swallow. And thanks for being vulnerable and sharing that with us. So
Yeah.
even at Bob's level, even with the connections he has, he still needs to do his follow-up and stay in touch.
100%. You need to have your regular routine. I have a regular workout routine with a trainer, and I don't deviate from that. In fact, he's away for the last couple of days, so I did it on my own, which I can do. But there's never the structure when you have somebody there holding you accountable and doing it. It just didn't feel the same. So stick to your basics and don't break your routine. Okay, questions? Anybody? Be glad to help you.
Can I just go off with mute? Is that okay, Sandra?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Julie. Bob, we met in Exton office. It's Cindy Dickerman's office 2 years back, and in Exton, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I took your training. You did that training for our monthly meeting. I just wanted to actually, not a question, I want to share something because of your technique, and I really followed every day. I literally today just have the paycheck in my hand, closed my first luxury listing, the $1 million, and sold my contractor who did the addition on my house. Just kept following up, and he just gave me the whole business, and he refers me business now all the time.
That is awesome.
So thank you so
Congratulations.
much, because I have still your notes. I still have, and Samina Chowdhury is in our group, your
yes.
Samina, and learning from her as well a lot. So just wanted to appreciate it.
Awesome job. Congratulations. And Samina's awesome. And it only takes one.
It takes one. Yeah.
You need to, like, if you want to, some people say, I want to sell to investors. Great. Get one and then multiply it with that investor or his friends or her friends, and put it on your social media. If you, now, I don't like to say this because we work with our agents on getting the highest commissions in the marketplace. We're constantly working on getting really high fees, and that's what we teach our partners, how to get the highest commissions out there. So this goes against everything that I'm teaching. But even if you have to lower your fee, get your foot in the door, you need that first sale. You need that first one, and then you're credible and you can use the multiplier effect. So great job.
Yeah. So 4 transactions with one is my goal every time.
Awesome.
With one transaction needs to be creating 4 more.
You know, I didn't plan on being in the luxury business. That wasn't my intention. Some friends of ours asked to sell their house, and all of a sudden I said, okay, I'll sell. It's just a normal house. I didn't do what I'm doing now. But then I got that, and I got other listings from it. So once you're in the game, it's easier. The hardest thing is getting the momentum. So somebody used this analogy, once you're pushing a rock is hard. But once you get it going, that boulder gets easier and easier because you got momentum. You just need one and get your momentum. Great job. Proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Hi,
Sure.
I have a question.
Sure.
Hi, Bob. I'm Maria Casa out here in the Florida Keys. Thank you for your outpour of wisdom. I have a question. If you have a listing that you based the pricing on the current comps, but you realize that the listing's been sitting there for several months and it's generating a couple of showings, but no offers. How do you have that conversation with your client and letting them know, well, this is where the comps were at before? Like, how do you explain yourself that it's that you did it based on comps and it's not because your pricing was wrong from the get-go, but maybe because there's something happening in the market that it's sitting there longer now? And at what point, like what price point do you move forward with for a price adjustment?
Great questions. First off, longer it sits, you're hurting them and hurting you. So don't put off those delicate conversations, number one. Number two, you have to educate the consumer. One of my sellers just said, Bob, I mean, his wife was a little bit emotional. Said, Bob, why don't you tell us the market shifted and changed a little bit? I'm like, well, the market's changing every day. I don't call my clients and say, hey, the market's changing. It's changed a lot since I met you in your kitchen in March till now, the market has shifted. So statistical data is important, but the most important data is you being in the field and you being able to tell with clarity and using examples of what has happened. So delicate conversations you need to have face to face. You're asking them to lower their price, drop it, and you're taking away their money. So you better do it face to face. So the sooner the better. If you're getting hardly any traffic, you have a dual broker open. We use a lot of broker opens to get feedback and then give that critical feedback to the seller. The more feedback you can give them from showings and from broker event, third-party testimonials for feedback is incredibly important. But sit down and have that conversation with them. One price improvement is better than doing multiple. I go for one big one and that's it. Because once you start, the sellers are getting tired of it. And then the buyers are going to say they've had 2 price reductions. Why don't we just wait for the third? Make one big price reduction to jolt the market and create momentum moving forward. But to answer your question, again, I believe every house in America should sell in a week if it's priced right and looks good. Every house, if it's priced right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
How much time do you guys spend preparing a house? Like, do you do staging and remodeling and stuff like that?
Great question. That's one of the biggest areas that we've helped sellers and we've gained over the competition. I started this program by accident 15 years ago. One of my good friends owns a contracting business, and one of my sellers who owned $1.5 million home couldn't afford to paint his house for $15,000. So I said, hey, Dudley, would you paint it? And if he'll pay his settlement? He said, what if he doesn't pay? I said, I'll pay half. He did it. Long story short, 3,000 jobs later, wow. He does work on all of my clients' houses, and he defers payment till closing. I don't put up any money. I don't make any money on it, but we do a lot of work. We have a stager that goes out and does consultation. We have contractors. Now, your team, who you have, is critically important. You need to make sure that you have your team in place, because when they ask you for contractors, you better have these, and your team better not disappoint you, and they better give you referrals. So we have a program that it's called our Home Enhancement Listing Program. It's called HELP. We'll fix up your house and you don't pay a dime till closing. In fact, I tell them it's free. They go, what do you mean it's free? Well, it's going to be $30,000 worth of improvements, but I'm going to get you back about 50 or 60. And you don't have to front any money. They go, that's a no-brainer. So how much money do we spend? It depends on the house. Some houses look great. Some of them look horrible, but we're looking to add value and when the recommendations we make so that they can get a greater, we're all about getting a return on investment. We don't care if it's pretty. We want to know, are we going to get our money back and more? So having a program in place to help your client maximize their presentation is critical. Now, I just added something, a staging component where we will provide furniture. We have a team that we work together with. So I've increased my commissions by 0.5 to 1%. Depending upon the price of the sale, for that staging and we're making significantly more money on that spread. They love it that you're providing the furniture. They don't have to pay for it, and I'm getting a higher commission.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's actually really smart. At what point do you actually give all of your recommendations to people? Like, we always have people, sorry, asking for advice before they sign. At what point, like, how do you handle that?
Okay, by the way, some people are getting off the call, so I want to make sure I do this. I'm going to come back to your question. Well, my daughter Lauren's going to put my contact information in the chat box. And if you like what you've heard today, now there's an ulterior motive here. It's going to help me and help you. I want to teach you one of the biggest mistakes I've made is we didn't go after reviews more aggressively. And I didn't realize the impact that it has and our rankings, SEO, everything. Now I am a madman on a mission right now. So if you like what you got today, if you could leave me a review and Lauren will give you information on where to leave that, I would greatly appreciate it. And that would help me. And I want you to go get reviews for yourself because that will help your business. Number two, if you know anybody looking to move to the Maryland area, we'd love to help your clients and we will pay you a substantial referral fee. Now your question, Sandra.
I forgot at what point do you give them the advice of what to do to prepare the house in the process of signing versus giving advice?
You better be very careful with this. If you walk through the house and say, you need to do this, you need to do that, they're going to get another realtor. We sit down, I have a whole listing presentation. I can't do it right here, but essentially you go through and you're building rapport and you compliment them on the house. These areas could add more dollars to the bottom line. If you'd like to consider these areas, my stager will also come through and give you this feedback. I connect them with the stager and make an appointment on the spot. Hopefully they sign the papers. I have like a 90% closing ratio when I sign the first time. If I sign when I'm there. If I don't sign when I'm there, my ratio goes down to like 50%.
Wow.
So I want to try to sign right there. So I'm very careful of how I suggest that they do these improvements. It always has to be a benefit to them. I suggest these things. In fact, I did them on my own deceased parents' house. I did them on my daughter's house when we sold her house in Baltimore City. These will make you more money. Why don't you speak to my stager and we'll talk about how we can make you more money. They'll like that conversation rather than, something, your countertops are horrible, your cabinets are really worn. You got to get new appliances. And you're insulting them, and all they see is money going out the door. I show them a return on how they're going to make money.
I love it. That was a great piece to end on. Great nugget. Bob, you are amazing. You've given us so much, even me, as I'm talking to you, I wrote down a million things here. So I'm sure everybody else got a lot out of this. Really appreciate you taking the time and just being so vulnerable and sharing with all of your tips and tricks. And I hope that everybody sends you some referrals here.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Most important, thank you, Sandra, for asking me to be here and for having such a great event for people to be here and share ideas. You're very successful in your own right, and we all can learn from each other. So thank you all for being here, and great seeing you, Sandra. And we look forward to seeing you all at some of these Keller Williams events.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bob. And thank you, everyone, for being here. If you need anything, feel free to reach out. We're always happy to help.
Thanks,
Take care.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you.